There's only one thing promised in this life, and it's death. Yes, death. And I've been able to make a lot of money from it. And no, I don't know a funeral home. I'm not like a casket salesman, but I'm in real estate. And the specific type of real estate that I practice involves a lot of dead people. And literally right now, in this current moment, there is a huge opportunity that you can take advantage of as well, where you can monetize and literally change your life with this exact strategy. And it's estimated that between 68 to 84 trillion dollars are being transferred at this exact moment from unalive people to just everyday people. And you can monetize. You can, even if you get 1% of that $68 trillion, I'm pretty sure that's a lifetime of money. 1%, just 1%. And it's not even a crazy amount. What I'm talking about specifically is what is called the Great Wealth Transfer. Now, we all know that homes used to be like 40,000, 50,000 back in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, etc. Now, those people that bought properties back then, unfortunately, again, now this is just the sake of human nature, but they are passing away. A lot of these individuals are passing away at this exact moment. And from now, in the next 20 years, $84 trillion worth of assets are going to be transferred to millennials. And some Gen Zs and some other people are going to inherit a lot of these assets. Now, how do you come in and how do I come in and monetize off of this? For example, this last week, I closed a wholesale deal virtually for $15,000. Now, the exact way that I got this deal, we're about to get into that as well, but I want to tell a story on how we even got this deal, right? So we reached out to the individual. They were living in Houston. The property was in Oklahoma. They owned the property due to the fact that it was inherited from their parents who had passed away roughly 2 years ago. And they just didn't have a reason to have it. They was like, oh, we don't care about that property. I've never actually been in it. It used to be one of my rental properties for my parents. It was part of their inheritance. So we reached out. We told them specifically what we do. We buy properties for cash, and that this property would make sense for us to acquire. You know, are you guys open to sell? They were like, yes, I don't care. I've been having it for a while. Taxes weren't that crazy out there. It was a pretty rural area in Oklahoma. It was like $800 or like $1,200 a year, which is nothing too crazy compared to other places. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of these people, that is just one example, but there is a lot of cases that I've closed in the past that I've noticed a pattern. I've noticed that a lot of these people that are very lenient and wanting to sell their property, they don't care for how much, just for the sake of getting rid of it, are people that have inherited it from their parents, grandparents, etc. They already had their properties, they already had their life built in Houston, they had kids. So like leaving those and selling those assets and leaving those behind wasn't that much of a issue because they weren't reliant on them. Of course, there is some people that are waiting for these properties to be inherited because they can't buy a house, or they're currently struggling to live on their own means and they're waiting on their parents to pass away. I mean, unfortunately everyone does at some point, but they're waiting on those on those properties, right? So yes, we can't help every single person, but the majority of them already have their lives built and they have no need for these properties. Now, how are you going to make money from this how are you going to make money from this $84 trillion opportunity that is standing right in front of you, that you literally have the next 20 years to monetize and literally change your life? So first off, we need to find these individuals. And now how do we get a hold of these individuals to the point where we can scale? A lot of people want to get into wholesaling, but they want to start doing driving for dollars. They want to do abandoned signs, but you can only do so much with that strategy. I like to call it more like a hustle. If you literally have $0 to your bank account, not even, there's way better strategies that you can do for free. But I wouldn't even rely on those because that's more of a hustle, because you really got to go put in those, go outside, do your thing. And you can only really rely on your backyard. For example, I'm in Frisco, Texas, and literally there's no distressed properties. Maybe you'll come across one, Maybe, but it's a very booming city to the point where a lot of wholesale deals are not happening in this area. So it just doesn't make no sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down every single step for you to be able to take action after this video and be able to take advantage of this $84 trillion opportunity that's standing right in front of you. So let's start with finding the sellers. Finding the sellers. Now, the way that I found these sellers is by pulling a high equity list. A high equity list from PropStream. PropStream is a program that literally is real estate data, uses a bunch of AIs, uses a lot of algorithms to pull data from public records. But long story short, we pull a list of these high equity properties and also properties that are vacant. No properties that are owner occupied. That's a no-no. Because a lot of the properties that we come across that are inherited are almost always vacant or either have a tenant in them. So we try to shoot for the ones that are vacant and have high equity. Now, what does high equity mean? High equity are properties that have almost been paid off or are paid off. A lot of these properties that are inherited are mostly already paid off. I mean, if I had a house for 40 grand, I probably paid off by now, right? And that's what happened to those individuals that bought those properties back in the day, back in 1960, 1970. So step number one is pulling a data from PropStream. Next step, how do we get a hold of these sellers? Now, there's many marketing strategies to get a hold of these sellers. We got sending postcards, we got running Facebook ads, TikTok ads, we got dialing with a dialer, we got cold calling, so like going more like guerrilla marketing, actually going on your phone and typing your fingers away. But the most effective one and the most cost effective as well to this point, which I still use within my business, is using a dialer. Using a dialer, what this does, you put the list of data, the one that we just pulled from PropStream, we throw it into the dialer and it dials for us. It literally just brings the people towards us. We don't come across people that are, please leave a voicemail, etc. We actually conversate with people on a daily basis, because the more people we conversate, the more opportunities we have, the more opportunities we have, the more money we can make. So using this dialer method is how we're gonna go get a hold of these sellers. Now, the next step, and I'm kind of running through this, and I have a more in-depth video in my YouTube channel, so feel free to go check it out after this. This actually breaks it down step by step by step. But the third step is having a proper sales process. Now, we can all agree that the American dream is different for everybody. You know, my goals are far different from somebody else's and somebody else's over here. But back in the 60s, back in the 70s, back in the 80s, I'd say the American dream consisted of owning a piece of real estate, having that white picket fence, having a stable job, right? And a lot of these people that are in the 30s and the 40s, which I strongly believe, I don't know, I'm gonna throw it up there, but the average homeowner is like in their 40s and their 50s, 45. So you really gotta put yourself in the shoes of them. Now, again, there is a lot of strategies in regards to getting out of these sellers, but what makes you think off of one email or off of one text or off of just a bunch of texts or emails, etc., you're gonna have one of these individuals that is their biggest asset, they really went to work on a 9-to-5 for 40 years to pay this off, are gonna sell it to you over one text message or one email. You need to be realistic. You need to build trust with these sellers. And a great way is by talking to them, talking over the phone. I talk over the phone, I follow up with these individuals. We don't do no SMS, email blasting, because that shit just doesn't make sense. Put yourself in the shoes of the seller. I'm not gonna sell you literally my hard-earned work piece of real estate that I built wealth with over one email. So right in front of you is a quick glimpse of my sales process. You can feel free to screenshot it. And long story short, what it is, it's kind of a flow chart of what we need to talk and ask to these individuals. We need to find if they're even looking to sell, why they're looking to sell, by when are they looking to sell? Are they looking to sell today? Are they looking to sell 2 months from now, 3 months from now, whenever? Or how much are they looking to sell? And when's the best time to talk to them, right? So that's the whole, long story short, what the sales process consists of. Now, the next step. Now, keep in mind, wholesaling, virtual wholesaling, what I like to call virtual real estate, the main nitty gritty and where you actually make the money is by locking the properties under contract and selling these contracts to investors. Now, there's a win-win for everybody. The seller gets rid of a property that they don't want, and investors make money by buying the property, fixing it up, and selling it on the market. And the city, like whatever city it is, they bring more money into the county, because now we got nicer properties in the area. Now it's more attractive to new people moving into the area, you know, things like that. Yes, some would say gentrification, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, but off of me or just one individual cannot change the system. If we can't change the system, might as well just make money off of it and grow as we go. But that's basically a win-win for every single party. So you get these properties under contract, and I have a full video on how to get the property under contract and how the contract actually works. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. And also I have a free agreement that you can use yourself. So in the first link down below, you can go ahead and put in your information and we'll go ahead and send you the agreements, literally the same agreements that I use within my business that made me get that property under contract too, so I can get that 15K check literally like last week. And also right under that, I have a link for you to apply to my one-on-one mentorship, work through your whole thing. You know, we jump on one-on-one calls. For those individuals that are serious, that want to start or want to scale their wholesale business, make sure to click on the second link down below. But other than that, now that you got the property under contract, now it's time to sell to an investor. Again, that's only half of the job. The second half is a little bit easier, right? Now we got to find investors. The way that we find investors is as simple as literally going to Redfin, seeing what has sold on the last 3 months that are either distressed properties. So let's say there's a distressed property, we call the buyer. And let's say we have a property that's been a flip, we call the seller. And what a flip looks like, usually they have agreeable grays. They have these like doors that are like literally yellow, green, red, or whatever. Old looking exteriors and very modern interior, stainless steel, etc. Countertops with white countertops, subway tiles, things like that. So we're gonna reach out to these investors. We have a property under contract out here in Wichita Falls. By any chance, are you currently looking for a project at this moment? Or by any chance, are you guys looking for a project? So some investors, you know, if they're savvy, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know, throw it my way. Or if they're not, they're more mom and pops, they're like, maybe not looking for a deal right now, etc., etc. We'll come across those people. Again, this is a numbers game. Now, the next thing, once you get that property under contract, once you find that investor, you need to assign the contract. And within those agreements that you signed up for on the first link that you probably received by now, we also provide the second one. That's the one that you actually assign to the investor, and then you make the difference. Once you have all these agreements, send it to the title company. The title company should do their shenanigans. They make sure that the person selling the home is the actual seller, and they make sure, you know, all the funds go to the right direction. They pay the seller, the buyer pays them, the buyer also pays you. And that's how you basically make money with virtual real estate. Again, now this is all done virtually. We don't have to go knocking on doors. We don't have to walk around looking for properties, driving around, etc. All we have to do is literally pull up this data, dial away, and make sales and make money. And that's how you make money off of an $84 trillion opportunity that is literally sitting in front of you, where the largest wealth transfer in history is happening as we speak. So, are you gonna go ahead and don't take action after this video? That's on you. Or do you want to at least get the agreements and do a little bit more research and then eventually get into it? Awesome. Or are you going to take action right now? At the end of the day, action takers are the breadwinners, are the ones that are going to make the money. But other than that, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment any questions that you may have. And long story short, that's how you make money off of dead people.